Welcome back to Ravenwood Collectibles. I am Steven. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to do an unboxing of the new Hasbro Mandalorian's N-1 Starfighter. But first, let's figure out how we got here. I want to take you on a little bit of a history on the ships that we grew up on and how we've ended up with this N-1 Starfighter. Is probably one of the cooler ships we have in Star Wars today. Join me. We got to go all the way back to 1977 when I was just a little guy and George Lucas introduced us to Star Wars. It was then I saw the greatest starfighter I think I had ever seen, the T-65B X-Wing fighter. Now this is the Empire Strikes Back 1980 battle damage release. To be honest with you, this was the easiest one for me to go grab. Lock your S-foils into attack position, we're going in. Could have been one of the coolest things I had ever heard. First of all, what were S-foils? It would be this ship, this toy that Luke Skywalker piloted with Red Squadron that destroyed the Death Star in 1977. This same Starfighter would follow us into 1980's Empire Strikes Back release as Luke's main transportation. Now this would be the ship he would crash into Dagobah. It would be Luke Skywalker's newly found little green friend that would actually pull this ship right out of Dagobah Swamp. And then we move into 1983, Return of the Jedi, when we see Wedge Antilles use the same class of ship to blow up the second Death Star. It would just be a short 16-year gap, and then George Lucas would introduce us in 1999 to the Phantom Menace and the N-1 Starfighter. Now would this Starfighter live up to the expectations as the X-Wing fighter? Only a whole new generation of kids would let us know if it did. So George Lucas introduced us to a brand new sound, style, sleek, chromed out, polished starfighter that we had never seen before. And ironically, it was Anakin Skywalker who piloted this craft at the end of the Phantom Menace that blew up the Trade Federation starship. Okay, let's now jump to November 12th, 2019, when Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau introduced us to The Mandalorian. Hey, you guys, nostalgia guys, time for you to go. You gotta go as well. Come on, you've had your time. So in season 1 of The Mandalorian, it was not the N-1 Starfighter that we were introduced as the Mandalorian's mode of transportation. It was actually the ST-70 class Razorcrest that Mando would use. It would be season 2, episode 6, The Tragedy, when there actually would be a massive tragedy. Moff Gideon has now captured Grogu, and the Razorcrest met its demise. So it would be season 1, episode 5 of the book of Boba Fett, called The Return of the Mandalorian, where 3 pit droids, Peli Motto, would introduce us to a souped up, supercharged N-1 Starfighter. Alright, history shows us how we actually got here to the Mandalorian N-1 Starfighter. Let's get this new toy unboxed, let's take a look at the details, and let's see what this thing looks like. Let's do it! Alright, let's start off by looking at this package art. Single racing stripe around the box, great Kenner logo at the bottom right corner. Looks really nice. Now let's get into this box, open this thing up, and let's take a look at this. See how much building we gotta do. Alright, we got a display base that mirrors the Razorcrest base. Very nice. Okay, I don't collect the vintage series figures. I usually stick to the retro figures only on the modern stuff. This figure is really cool. Love the image that they used on this. For you collectors that do collect this is VC292. Alright, we do have some building to do, so just bear with me. Let's get this thing unpacked. Alright, this vintage series Grogu they packed in here, man, he is so cute. I know what you're saying. There's a lot of parts. I'm unpacking still. Just hang on. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. A cryogenic density combustion booster. Okay, I think we're down to the final few pieces. Let's get this laid out and take a look. The details on these parts are great. Some assembly required.
You know, it'd be a lot faster if you helped.
Glad the Jawas were able to steal this from the Pike Syndicate.
It fits.
Alright, now we're rocking and rolling. Let's get going. Get this tail installed. Nice. Instead of the droid port, we'll install Grogu's seat. Now let's get some speed added to this ship. Right engine, left engine. Man, this thing is looking sweet. This is about the time you need a pit droid.
Get it right there. No, closer to me. No, over to the left. Right in the center. You're banging around in there. What's happening? Just there you go. How hard was that? Beautiful.
Yeah, if only it was just that easy. Trust me, it's not. I would assume these are a few of those engine mods that Pelimato had kicking around in her shop. Now you have the option of placing this engine panel on the left engine or the right engine. Your choice.
Where does this panel go? Thanks, little guy.
Let's go with the right.
I found you a turbonic Venturi power assimilator. You're going to be the fastest ship on the outer rim.
I'll bet you I can install this faster than those two can. Watch this. Alright, let's snap together this larger base. Good. You get the option to place a droid port if you choose. One thing Hasbro did was give you the option of multiple bases. Pretty nice touch. There he is. Where have you been all this time? You could have helped. Alright, let's get Grogu in here and let's get him ready for flight. Alright, getting his base into the foot peg. That was a little more challenging than I thought. Could be my old eyes. Port on. There you go, little feller. You look cute. Alright, let's try this first base. This would be the base that would kind of replicate him. He's just landed. It's just kind of hovering there above the ground. Looks good. Not my choice, but good. I think this is going to be my base of choice. This one we can get kind of a little tilt on it. Kind of get him in flight. Yeah, I like that one. Like I said, I'm a vintage retro kind of guy, so my 5 points of articulation figure, he's flying this thing. Alright, cockpit hatch opens up nicely. Kind of tight for you to slip the figure in, so they do give you another option. It lifts up from the back. There's a little area back behind Mando's seat and under Grogu that gives you the option to put your weapons in there for storage. Nice touch. Alright, let's nestle Mando down in there. That looks good. Close the hatch. We're ready for some flight. I do like the paint detail on here. I wish there was a little bit more here and there. It still looks a little plasticky to me. They've done a fairly good job with the weathering. I do like all the little paint weathered marks on there. That looks pretty good. You know, the detail in the missing panels, that looks really good on the interior there. A little more paint detail would have been cool. Here is the storage container for the weapons. That's kind of cool. And you know, the dashboard's minimal, but looks good. It does give you that old vintage Kenner feel. There it is, yo, cryogenic density combustion booster. What does it even do? All right, let's go for a quick flight over this puppy. Looking good, looking good. Let's put the Season 1 retro Mando figure into the Razorcrest, and let's see how these two girls look together. I'm not gonna lie, I think the Razorcrest was a really, really cool ship. Give you a lot of that Ghost Millennium Falcon kind of feel to it. But man, these two do pair up. Apparently, Mando has a thing with chrome and yellow. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that unboxing as much as I did. I will have to say, I'm always gonna be a vintage toy collector. I'm not a big fan of the modern stuff. I don't collect the vintage collection Star Wars. I do play around in some of the play sets just because the retro figures or the original figures kind of work with them. But Hasbro is doing a pretty good job on some of their pieces. I can really appreciate them. I like how they integrate with the old toys. I like how the N-1 Starfighter and the Razorcrest do marry together as a team. If you like this kind of video and like this kind of content, don't forget to like, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And it's dinner time. Woo! So we'll see you next time, baby.